the airport.
Okay. Well, Tulsa Airport's easy to fly into. Awesome.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Michelle. Hey, sorry about that.
How you doing, Michelle?
How's it going? It's going. We're trying to get all of our invoices straightened out. It's a little bit of a nightmare at the moment.
It's a good problem to have, though. You have invoices.
Yeah.
How's May looking?
It's looking better every day.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys, did you split? We have some schools that are actually ending early, and so we've got some of our main business that went over to April. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, same here. Some of our big, our big weeks are actually starting next week. So, because some of our schools are actually getting out earlier than planned because of budget cuts and things like that.
Yeah. I guess from other conference calls and stuff, it's just Oklahoma that's kind of experiencing that.
Yeah,
Other stores are saying they.
Next year though, because they're talking more next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Tim, can I do a little warm-up while we're waiting for anybody else to
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah, just kick us off. Are you coming on with any victories or failures in the last couple of weeks? Doesn't have to be anything huge. It can just be, hey, I'm asking a different question or anything in your radar.
Well, I only share huge, so.
Okay.
No, just kidding. So, yes, I do have a good victory to share. Actually, last time we spoke, or had our call after you talked about just going back with questions, answering their questions with questions. So I've been working on a buy-in for October, and sent the proposal out, and they came back with wanting to go to a cheaper rate. So just kind of applied what you taught us last time, and just asked her basically why she felt she needed a different rate. What was her concern there? What was she trying to accomplish with the event? And did she feel like she was really able to accomplish that with a lower rate, or package, what have you? So we just talked through it and was able to keep it at the original price that I had sent her. So that was pretty cool.
I tell you what, just that, no BS here. That makes my day. I mean, if we can get people just to take a step back and have a conversation about it, not panic, not cut the price. Sometimes people will pay more if they understand why they're paying more. If they don't really get it, or they feel like they don't understand it, then they're for that deal either because Daddy taught them to, or they just don't get it. But if we were in your right there, we would all do the wave because that's awesome. That makes my day. Jim, how you like that, man?
I take you off mute. I love it. She told me about that the same day. It was literally the afternoon right after we had the last call. It was awesome.
That is huge.
She said, in her exact words were, I think listening to the Sandler call this morning, Brett made me feel very brave. And then she went on to tell me the story.
So let's try something, you guys. Anybody that's on this call, let's just see if it works and see if Jess can hear it. Let's give her the golf clap.
Yeah!
Very nice, Jess. Awesome. That's just, we can hang up now. We can all just take that and learn. Let's stay there in those budget conversations and not panic. Excellent. Awesome. Jess, pick someone. You can see kind of the list on your screen, but pick anybody.
Daniel. Is he on?
Hey, Daniel. I think he is. Oh, I saw him here, no? Oh, he's the one we're waiting for.
Well, we'll go with our good old friend Michael Todd.
Michael, are you on mute? Can you hear us?
Sorry. Yes, I'm here. Trying to get the camera to work. Can't do it. Sorry.
And I want to see your face.
Hit us. Do you have any failures that you like sharing?
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. Say it again.
I said, do you have any victories or failures you feel like sharing?
Can't think of any right this moment.
We'll come back to you. Pick somebody. Because all we're trying to do, just get warmed up a little bit, Michael. We're just trying to get our head in the game. It's been 3 or 4 weeks since we've been on here, and we're in the knowledge and awareness of this game. But sometimes people leave these calls and actually cross the line and have a little guts and say, hey, I'm going to ask this question I've never asked. Or like Jeff, stay there and say, is there something that you feel like you would miss if you did go with a different package? And those are little victories, and sometimes it's I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and it's a failure. And I know what I should have done, but I didn't have the guts to do it. That's a failure, but we're I-10s. Our self-esteem is bulletproof, so we're okay being vulnerable in front of our peers. How athletes grow, it's how musicians grow that are in the professional realm, is they practice and they're vulnerable in front of their team. So, nice. But so, Michael, we'll come back to you. Pick someone.
Carrie?
I'm sitting here trying to think.
Anything?
I can't think of anything out of the everyday ordinary.
Okay.
You know, just calling on.
Is there one, Carrie, and I don't mean to step on you, we got a little delay here, forgive me, but is there something that you may have quoted, but they've gone dark on? Or is everybody...
No, not at the moment. Jeff actually reminded me that I do have somebody, I have a new account that's a potential buyout for June. It's a new company, and we had the committee in last week, gave them a tour, and they seem really happy. I think it feels like it's about an 85% right now.
Okay, what's making you feel like it's 85%?
Just time. The committee seems to be on board. It's just them going back, and we've already assessed that it's in the budget, that it's a place they want to be. They wanted to come out and take a tour and see it as a group, experience it. So it's just them collectively coming together and giving me the yes. So
yeah, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What's their process that they use to make decisions to pull the trigger? What process do they go through as a committee?
Their committee just meets. They went through the process of going through all the different competitors and doing the research, figuring out, narrowing it down. They've got it narrowed down to us. They have said, you are the place we want to be. So it's just going back, figuring out the date, and just logistically then working it in their calendar.
Okay. Don't feel like you're in the dark. Sounds like you feel pretty good about that. That's why you're 85%. Is the 15% left that just ready for the answer of saying let's go for it?
Yeah, just wait them. You know, it came in as a web email lead, and I reached out to her, called her, emailed her, and we've actually we have a pretty good relationship. The head person, the person that's coordinating it all, and so it's gone very smooth, very well. Last year they went to the zoo and they had 800 people. This year they're thinking 600 because because of budget, they're not gonna invite the entire state. So we customized and made them a special rate for their budget. And we're still going to be able to get some extra money when they get here because they don't have a huge unlimited or high game card package. So I think it's going to be a win for everybody.
All right, cool. All right, nice. Pick someone.
Casey.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I think that
coming on with Casey, anything?
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of is a failure, which is kind of a bummer. But I got in a little bit with Anheuser-Busch, and we're trying to organize a buy-in for a family day in September, and it was sort of briefly talked about, and I've talked to her once since, but I'm kind of nervous to overstep and kind of push the boundaries a little bit because it's a big deal for us to get them through the door. So I'm at now with them.
Yeah, awesome. So I hear a little reluctance in your voice to what's the failure?
I've seen the woman I actually sort of know in my personal life. I see each other every now and then. And the last few times we've seen each other, she hasn't brought it up, and I haven't brought it up, and I'm kind of waiting because I talked to her 2 times ago. She said she was still waiting on her boss to get in town from vacation, and she would let me know, and they were really interested. And so I think that I just need to bite the bullet a little bit and bring it up.
Yeah. So do you feel like to do that you technically know how to do it, or are you having a conceptual block that you shouldn't cross that line? What's your little girl's voice saying inside?
I don't know. I think my biggest fear really is just putting too much pressure on it.
Yeah. So, the beauty of this whole Sandler process is you can actually tell her that. You could say, hey, listen, can I tell you my fear? Because I don't want to put so much pressure on whether you guys use this or not. So will you help me? Should I just close that file for now? I promise you'll have the truth. You may not want to know the truth, but I promise you'll hear the truth. Would that be weird to go left like that?
It makes me nervous to think about, but I think it's definitely the next step.
What makes you nervous? Just help us on the call. Help us relate. What are you nervous about? The answer or the friendship?
I think the answer mostly because I'm fairly new to this and not really, my role here is a little interesting, and so a failure would be disappointing.
Yeah. So we have this rule: you can't lose what you don't have. Right? So you don't have it yet, right?
Right.
But don't be afraid of it, because IPC, Tim, nobody can control that. All you can control is the behavior, to build trust, deal with the facts, and get the truth. So you don't have the pressure of whether you win or not. You can't control that. So all your pressure that makes you nervous or worried that whether you're going to win it or not, you really can't control that. It's like the weather. You can't control it. All you can do is control the behavior and be prepared for it. So I would not say you're going to do this, but here's what I'd like you to think about is next time you see her or call her and just say, hey, I don't want to have any pressure on this. Don't feel weird, but should I just close the file on this for now? Sounds like maybe the guys went in a different direction. It's okay to tell me. The irony is you'll hear the truth. She'll either say, yeah, we've gone a different direction, we're going to do something, or she'll go, no, don't do that. I'm still waiting on my boss. And then you say, then you got your answer. But you see how you're not okay. You're the one struggling. And you show that to her and you're just candid with her and she'll rescue you. Most human beings are pretty nice people and they'll rescue you. But there's something to think about, Casey. You don't have to answer me. I just want to challenge you on that. Your gut's telling you the answer. I don't want to be weird. I don't want to be nervous. I don't want to have pressure. Should I just close the file for now? That's the art of staying left. Pick someone, Casey.
Sabrina?
Hey, Sabrina, can you hear us?
I sure can. Okay.
Hey.
So I've been on vacation since we had our last Sandler, but I do have a victory.
Cool.
Yes. I have a victory. I had to deal with a customer complaint when I got back on Saturday, and I did an upfront contract with them, and even though I couldn't help them right away, I was really proud of Sandler because I was able to explain to them, I'm not going to be able to help you at this moment, but I'm going to go above and beyond to try to get you taken care of, and we were actually able to help them that night. Just by me sending an email over. So yeah, I felt like I got a victory and I won. So I was
very cool. Nice job. Way to go.
Thank you.
Pick someone, Sabrina.
All right, let's go with Nicole.
I knew you'd pick me. Well, I had a call the other day. I called a lady that's with a school back, and when I got on the phone with her, she was adamant about she only wanted to spend $10 per kid. That was their budget. That was it. And I ended up talking about, I didn't talk about selling or anything. I just started talking about Incredible Pizza and started talking about all the changes that we'd made and all the stuff that we've got. And I ended up closing the deal with the $21.99 deal for everybody in the class. So that was, I was pretty proud of her.
Wow. Way to go!
We get a golf clap. Get a golf clap on that one, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice.
Good job! Yay!
Wow. That's real revenue, like Jess. That's real revenue. Jess protected that $1. And who, you guys, who just said that? Did I hear that right? Was it someone? Is it Nicole?
Yes.
Nice job, Nicole. That makes my day too. That's just awesome. So you more than doubled. But isn't it interesting, you guys? The lessons that I take from that is people come into our world and they lie to us. And they don't do it on purpose. They're just doing it to protect themselves so people don't take advantage of them. But that's where we just start sharing our story, asking questions, finding the truth, what's really important to them. People want to pay more. Think about it, you guys. You've all bought something that you paid more for because you wanted it. You've all bought something that you ended up paying more for than you thought you were going to pay for it because you wanted to. So, really nice job, Nicole. That's awesome. Way to go.
Thank you so much.
About Michelle, are you on here?
Yes, I am.
Are you coming on with anything?
Yeah, really every day we have something that's kind of like a wow moment, because, you know, we've kind of came so far just in a matter of a couple weeks. We had a $9,000 week last week, and for us, that's really big, especially now that I'm just focusing on groups. We booked a 3-day vacation Bible school for June, and then the following week we have a new group that's doing a vacation Bible school as well. And the first week in June, it'll be 200 kids each day for 3 kids, and then the new one we're doing will be 150 kids for that day. So it's going to get us right out the gate in June. Sorry about that. It'll get us right out the gate in June with good sales.
Excellent. Very cool. Awesome victory. Michelle, can we give you a stroke too with a golf clap? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Nice job. Very nice job. Daniel, are you? I see him on the web list, but I may not be on the video.
I'm on here, Brett.
Hey, Daniel, fire away. What are you coming on with, man?
Well, I didn't really quite catch. I think we're doing victory stories. Is that right?
Sure. Yeah. We're waiting for you to all that stuff.
I really don't know if I can top any of that right now. I'm trying to blame it.
But Daniel, how about don't even talk about the deals? What about just communication? Are you doing anything deeper, wider, or more gutsy than you were a year ago? That would be a bigger victory than anything. Revenue stuff is awesome, but what about you personally in your conversations?
Well, I think it's more confident than anything for me. When I'm talking to the customers, I'm a lot more confident in the product that I'm selling and the way that I'm selling it than I was a year ago.
Okay, can you, what that sounds like, but just for the rest of us on the call, what's that mean? Can you give us a real-life example of where it's different in confidence? What do you think? Conceptual?
Well, for example, now I have the ability to actually talk to the customer without having to run to Tim or Paul. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I have the negotiating power in myself.
Okay, nice. Nice. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, most definitely.
So in a way, the buck kind of stops with you. You don't have to lengthen your sales cycle, you can shorten it right there and make decisions, sounds like.
Yeah, it's getting a lot easier for me to do that. There's times where I'll go to Paul or Tim, but it's more of, hey, I have an issue, but here's the solution. Which one do you think sounds best?
Okay, very cool. Well, that's awesome. How about you, Michael? Let's come back. Anything pop in your brain?
It would have to be just a few minutes ago. I was on a call, and it was a 600-person event for the airport, and it was a new account, and we've been going back and forth just on whether or not they were going to do the event at all. And so just, staying in touch with him, over the course of a couple of weeks here and there. And they've had some management issues that people quit. So lots, has been happening. And so just now he told me, you know what, we're not going to do this.
Okay.
And so it was one of those situations where you just feel defeated. It's like,
okay.
Really? We've had all these conversations, thinking things are going well, and then it's like, okay, no, we're not doing it. So, you put it to bed and move on. So then I have a casino here that I've been calling, and I've left probably 6 messages for her. And before I realized that I kind of used your, should I just close this file and move on tactic with her on the voicemail, because I kind of felt like, the courtesy is for you just to give me a call back and say no.
Right.
Versus, leaving me hanging. So before, when someone said that earlier, I think you said it to somebody, I thought, I actually said that and didn't realize I said it.
Cool. Did it work?
Well, she hadn't called me back yet. Well, I just called her today, so we'll see.
Okay, so Michael, can you play for us, just replay it just for us? What did you say on that when you say you closed the file? Can you just share the words? What's that sound like when you left the message? Can you give us an example?
So I just said, hi, this is Michael with Incredible Pizza. I've left you a couple of messages in the past. Just wanted to follow up about that company outing you were planning, just to see if it's something you are still planning to do. And if not planning to do it, if you would just please let me know, I would greatly appreciate that, and we can, move on from here. So, and, left my phone number, and that was it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Giving her the opportunity to say, I need you to call me back, besides saying, please call me back. So.
Right. So, Michael, nice job. I think that's awesome, just to get the truth. But can I just suggest something that you might consider adding to it?
Sure.
Leave the person the option to pick no. And you kind of did, but you used the words that a lot of traditional people use. I just want to follow up. So I like where you're going. I like the structure, but just add the other option. So it might sound like this. Hey, hi Karen, it's Michael over here at Incredible Pizza. I've left you a couple messages. A couple things are probably happening. One is you've been busy and haven't had a chance to call me back. Or 2, something has changed and you're going to go a different direction. I'm okay with either. Let's do this. If I haven't heard from you by Friday at 4, I'll know it's the latter, and I'll close the file for now. So see what happens when you give them both the options is some people will go, oh, crap, I've just been busy and haven't had a chance to call you. And sometimes you get a phone call or an email 17 minutes later. But here's what happens if the person really is not going to do it, they don't want to tell you no, they're going to go to some other event, and they just don't want to call the salesperson back. You just allow them to say nothing and no to you by saying, if I haven't heard from you by a certain date, I'll know it's you go a different direction. I'll close the file for now. Close the file for now is the key word because it doesn't mean forever. So, Michael, you can take that or leave it, but do you hear the difference?
Yes.
So I don't want you to just. So my fear is you're going to patronize me and say yes. What do you hear in the difference? Bear with me. What do you hear in that difference?
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I also, it's awkward in those words, so I would have to put it in my terms.
I know. So what? But what's awkward? Stay there.
Well, it's awkward to say. I mean, you're acting like you're understanding what that person. You're foretelling what they're thinking, and to me that just seems awkward.
Okay, got it. So what would your words be? Edify us.
I don't know. At this moment. I mean, I understand. I have to think about it.
But what I'm hearing you, what I think you're saying, and I'm not saying I'm right, but my hunch is you're saying it's awkward to call someone on the carpet.
No. I mean, I'm like you. I just want to know, yes or no. I don't, if it's no, fine, I'm moving on,
But you know what? You're fine. You're right. But if everybody would do what they say, if everybody wasn't afraid of conflict, they would call you and say, Michael, I wanted to call you and tell you we're not going to choose your event place we're not going to choose Incredible Pizza for our event. But here's the problem, Michael, is that the D's in the disc have no problem calling and telling you that. They're just not going to waste their time and tell you that because they don't care about you. They're on to the next thing in their life. The C's are also about the job and task, and they're not about the people, so they're not worried about what you're thinking about them. They got their data from you, and that's all they need. The I's, who love people, avoid conflict, so they're not going to call you and tell you no. And the S's are internalizing the conflict, and that's way too much conflict for them. They would never even pick up the phone and even attempt it.
Yeah. I just think that if someone took the time to reach out to you and, to need the information and you haven't provided it yet, you would think that person would at least figure out a way to, whether it be call me or email me or whatever, because you did the first time. So my biggest pet peeve is if I've called you 6 times, you need to figure out a way to respond. Otherwise, I'm going to keep calling.
You would think so, Michael, but human beings are funny that way. That's why we study this. So write this down, Michael. Whether everybody else wants to write this down, but Michael, I need you to write this down. This is the customer's process. I'm going to remind you of it. One is to lie to you, to excite you or mislead you. Step 2 is they're going to steal your information. Step 3 is they're going to lie to you again and delay you. And step 4 is they're going to hide. So I don't know how you want to remember that, but I remember it as lie, steal, lie, and hide. That's what prospects do to us. They're not bad people. They know they can still go to heaven and not tell you the truth or call you back. It's the 11th commandment on the tablets. You know that, right? You can still lie to salespeople, go to heaven. Yeah. So, Michael, I'm okay if you use your words. That's our whole game. I never wanted to start this thing with you guys sounding like me. It's not a scripted thing, but I want you to take the concept. You're not allowing them to tell you no, they don't want to use you. Instead of you waiting for them to call, there's nothing wrong with your voicemail. It's just still one-sided. And I want you to complete the other side. So guys on the phone call, if you're doing follow-up calls and people that are not answering you, I want to say this one more time so you can hear it. Bob, Bob, it's Brett Baker with Incredible Pizza. A couple things are probably happening. One is you've been busy and haven't had a chance to call me back. I get that. I understand. Or 2, the event you and I spent our time working on is either not going to happen or you decided to go a different direction. Let's do this. If I haven't heard from you by next Monday, I'll know it's the latter, and I'll close the file for now. No harm, no foul. Brett Baker, 417-425-7310. Click. No, have a nice weekend. No, enjoy the weather. No courtesies. If I haven't heard from you by Friday at 3 or Monday at 2, I'll know it's the latter, and I'll close the file for now. Brett Baker, 417-425-7310. If they don't call you or email you or text you or send a pigeon with a note by that time, you know they're not into you. And you just help them say no. That's my only point, Michael. It's just like a little boy who keeps asking a girl out and she doesn't say yes, and she's just not that into it. And we've got to come to terms with that sometimes. So, food for thought. You can take it or leave it, man. I love the fact that you're even closing the file and telling people you're going to close the file, but I would just love for you to add the other end of the box. If they don't have the guts to call and tell you that, make it okay for them. Because, Michael, think about the odds. Are you one of the rare guys that have always called the salesperson or the opportunity after you got an estimate and told them no? Are you one of those guys that does that?
I would respond one way or the other, yes.
Yeah, see, you're pretty rare. I would today because I'm an I-10 and I like to respect people, but back when I was an I-6 and didn't want conflict, I would never call a salesperson that gave me an estimate and tell them I'm not going to use it. It's just too much conflict. I don't want to be, it would have been mean of me to do that. I would have felt bad for them, felt sorry for them, and wouldn't want to hear that myself. But that's low self-esteem stuff. So I appreciate your passion. I think you're awesome for doing that in your own sales for people to sell you. But you got to realize that disc, people aren't going to do it. So I hate for you to be sitting there waiting for that and be angry. I'd rather you just close the file for now and tell them that. And when they don't call you back, close the file. It's good for your head. They'll be back. Incredible Pizza's too cool. They'll be back. Natalie, if you're on here, what are you coming on with? Any strokes to give the team or any insight from management? Seat in the house?
Hi, Brett.
Hi.
Hi. So I think one of the main things, and I think everyone knows about this, but since Sabrina was gone on vacation last week, we had a pretty successful run call center. Robin did an amazing job running the call center on basically her own. We didn't burn it down. Everything was still running smoothly. So I'm pretty proud about that. I think personally, on my level, as far as the Sandler training goes, in my own personal work life, I have a better understanding of just living and not much, and doing that 70-30%, and then also just having those people who do come to me with issues or concerns and going to that not okay and finding the real reason behind it has become a lot easier for me as well.
Nice. Very, very cool. I'll take it. Hey, Sabrina, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Sabrina, can I ask you a tough question in front of your peers?
This is Robin. She's not here at this moment. She's
hi, Robin. All right, when she comes back, Robin, have her interrupt me. I want to ask her a tough question.
Okay. Oh, she's coming back right now. Yes, Brett.
Hi, Sabrina. Hey, can I ask you a tough question in front of your team and your peers?
Absolutely.
So when we came back from vacation and Natalie says Robin did a great job when you were gone, they actually hit some cool numbers and it just ran smoothly. Do you look at that as a failure on your part, or do you look at it as a victory?
I look at it as a victory because I trained her and molded her to become me. Because at one day I plan on growing with this company, moving somewhere else, and hoping that they fill my shoes.
Yeah, nice. I was hoping you'd say that because sometimes I kind of figured you would. The little I know you, I figured you'd go that way. But can you see some of the people out there that go on vacation and comes back and it ran pretty good? They would feel like they would take an eye hit on that. So.
Oh no, I'm ready for 2 vacations next.
And good job to you, Robin. Nice work. Way to go.
Amazing.
So, guys, Tim, did you want to share anything, or can I keep trucking?
Keep going. You're good.
All right. So, guys, on your screen, I want you just to, on your piece of paper, you can look in your resource if you need to, but I want you to just somewhere on your paper write out the submarine. So as you're drawing the shape of a submarine, doesn't matter what it looks like, that first compartment on the left is going to be bonding and rapport. And that second compartment is upfront contracts. Most obvious place for an upfront contract is upfront. Then we're going to have the pain compartment. And then we studied some questioning strategies. And then last time we talked about budget, which is the next compartment after pain. So we have bonding and rapport, upfront contracts, pain, budget. And then the next compartment is DMP, decision-making process. And just to fill the rest of that sub in, the second to the last one is F for fulfillment. That's where you're fulfilling them with the quote or the estimate or whatever you guys call it. And then the last compartment is post-sub. So I just want to get that sub in front of you because I want to review a little bit coming out of that budget conversation. So really quickly, what we're trying to do in budget is summarize the pain, play it back. Some of you are going to be doing this very quickly in the same conversation. Some of you may come back and have another meeting. Don't take me literal right now. It's going to be different in the call center than it is for some of the others on the call. Is budget available and how much? And the big difference of that is, are we having that conversation before we quote? Doesn't mean we can't have it after we quote, but it's designed to have before we quote. Are they willing to invest time, money, and resources? Sometimes it's not always about the budget. So on the bottom of the pain funnel, we talked about this acronym SBIC. Some of you will never use this because it may not be appropriate, and some of you absolutely use it because you're in a heavy-duty conversation with a big budget and you've got the time. But what we want to do at the bottom of that pain step before going to budget is summarize what they told you, prove to them that you heard them, get a validation. Did I get everything right? Yep. How important is it to do this event right? What's the commitment level to do it right, not necessarily with IPC? Get them to have a conversation around that, then move into that budget. We talked about a monkey's paw. Sometimes a monkey's paw is selling the smaller piece before the big piece. Maybe it makes sense to do a smaller little group before the big group comes. Your monkey's paw might be the committee visit. That's a perfect way to do the monkey's paw, is have them come in. You guys let them come in, whether it's for free or not, but that would be your monkey's paw. It's a beautiful way to get a customer to test you, try your product. So as we move from pain, we SBIC into budget, and you guys, as I go into this decision-making process, I want you to stay with me high level because everybody on the call is going to be different. Some of this is going to go really, really fast in your calls, and some of you are going to really take a few minutes to understand this. But the elements to the decision-making process are just like a reporter that you learned in 5th grade. The who, what, where, when, why, and how. What I want to challenge you as you look at this is the order probably matters a little bit. The problem with most traditional salespeople is they do number one first. Who makes the decision? What I want to really challenge, if you're a note taker at all with this, focus on when. See number 5? That's the W I think is the most important thing to start with, is when are you talking about this event? Because you guys have to calendar stuff and see if it's available. Is it this week? Is it 2 months from now? When? And don't assume number 6. Don't assume. Why are you picking that date? Here's the key. What's the process to make decisions? When your neighbors go through to make a decision where you're going to have the event? What's the process that you personally go through to decide whether you have your daughter's birthday party? At what event? They might say, oh, I'm the only person in the process. They might say, well, our committee has to talk to 7 different people, and they all got to call their grandmother to see if it's okay. Doesn't matter, guys. It's not for us. It's for them to self-discover, and you get the data of what's their process. So think about starting about when. You probably do that naturally because you guys are a calendared service. Why is it then? What's the process? And who's all involved in making that process? So when you think about this decision step, think about it this way. You review what has been covered at that point. You're starting to get that information on who, what, where, when, why, and how. You want them to be the ones talking about it. And this is where you can either qualify them or disqualify them, or determine if there's some other people you got to talk to. That might be kind of tough for some of you. I'm not saying that's appropriate on all those things, because I think IPC has several different sales processes and cycles. And some people may not want to disqualify it and talk to somebody else. You may want to give them the quote and get out of the way, get to the next conversation. But the key is always establish that upfront contract for what's going to happen next when you do the proposal, what's going to happen after they get the proposal or the estimate. But here's kind of the thing, you guys, is when you do that, you get that decision-making process and you talk through budget and you're looking at your submarine, you've done the pain. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't tell them necessarily what's next. Ask them, what should happen next? What do you need from me? Well, can you give me a quote? Well, if we say we put together a quote, what happens afterwards? Let them close themselves. So guys, decision step is you look at that submarine. It's a pretty simple step if you really think about it. It can be a 10-second conversation of that submarine, or it can be 15 minutes. It just depends on how deep they want to go. You can ask one of the who, what, where, why questions, or you can ask all of them. Don't look at that as a scripted thing that you got to do. It's just, do you understand the process that they're using? So that's why when I asked Carrie, she's 85%. What is she waiting for? And she said, well, we've talked to you, they've done the committee tour, they talked through the budget. She says their decision process is that their committee has to do this and this. Does Carrie have a strong upfront contract for when they say yes or no? Maybe that could be tighter after that committee tour. The point is that the most obvious place to set upfront contracts is upfront, but you're constantly contracting through the process at the beginning of a compartment and at the end of it. Don't take it literal. It's all one flow, one conversation. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 meetings. Sometimes it's the same 5-minute phone call. Just get your head around the concept right now. See if you can get some victories, failures around understanding what's the process that they go through to make decisions. So let me take a time out right here. Daniel, can you come off of mute and kick us off there a little bit? What is there anything that you're processing when you see, feel, and hear that decision process? You still with me, Daniel? Did Daniel leave us? Carrie, since I can see your beautiful face, can you comment on that? What are you processing when you think of decision process?
Honestly, I'm a little, we've got some pretty bad weather going on here. It's hailing outside, so I'm distracted. I apologize.
That's okay.
That means it's going to come here.
I'm sorry, Michelle. I know. It's not great outside. Decision process is sorry, can you just repeat the question again? I'd love to answer it for you.
Well, I think I was just traditionally, Carrie, most people hear a little bit of what the person wants to do and then they quote. And we're studying a process of understanding reasons of pain. Let's talk money, and let's understand their decision-making process before we give them our answer. I guess my question to the group as we go around is, what are you processing when you hear that? Is that totally different than what we do now, or are we kind of doing a little bit of that now? What are you processing? What are you thinking?
No, I think personally I'm there. I mean, can I do it better? I can always do the sales process better. I can always learn.
Okay.
I mean, every time I get on a call with you, I just love the smooth transition and approach that you have to it. Even in coaching, us on how to allow them to close, allow them to easily say no without having to actually give you that no and take that discomfort level away. So, like you said, you want to make the customer feel, you want to be less okay than the customer. So, I like how you do that. So.
Oh, cool. How about the process when you see this decision-making process step after budget or before the proposal? Do you have any feelings towards it?
I think for me personally, just firming up that upfront contract after a tour and after proposal, to just firm up with the committee or with the individual I'm talking to have that freedom to proceed to the next step, and it be agreed that, I'm not bantering you and I'm not happy and stuff, but trying to come to that equal decision for both parties.
Yeah. Nice. I'm glad you said that upfront contract, because I think if you ask professional salespeople, they feel like it's a very normal part of the day to be following up with people and making follow-up calls. In fact, I think a lot of professional salespeople, not necessarily anybody in this call, but a lot of them actually think they're doing their job really well when they're making a lot of follow-up calls. That their hope that there's a buy on the end of that follow-up call. But when Sandler starts to look at this thing and we start to really understand that process, and you look at that submarine, if we get really good at pain, budget, and decisions, there's a follow-up call in that system. So remember, the 4 positive outcomes of our conversations are a yes. We love no because we're the first ones to know it's no. We don't want it, but we're okay with it because we want to know it's a no. If they can't tell us yes or no, then it makes sense to have a clear next step. If there's another meeting, or they've got to go have another meeting with themselves, committees, grandparents, or whatever it is, we're all okay with that. But let's just have a clear next step of communication so I don't have to make the follow-up calls. I don't have to make the 18 voicemails. I don't have to dial phone. I don't have to. So why not bring that up in our upfront contract? Hey, be glad to give you this proposal, but can I share my concern? I don't want to be one of those salespeople that has to follow up and email and call you and text you. You don't want to receive those. I don't want to do it, so can we just have a time on the calendar where we communicate? Now, guys, don't hear my words, but hear the concept. If you like making follow-up calls and you like emailing people and no answers, that works for you, don't change. But if you get tired of that, if it's exhausting, and you'd rather be doing something different, tell them in your upfront contract, don't do that to me. You can't be mad at prospects for not doing something we told them they couldn't do. Excuse me, we can't be mad at prospects for doing something that we told them they couldn't do when we didn't tell them it. Well, let's just tell them. Just tell them how it works. And most people are pretty cool about it. Not saying everyone's going to do what you ask them to do, but most people are pretty cool. Daniel, how about you? Or is Daniel not on here, guys? We lose him?
No, I'm on. I'm on my phone.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
All right, Daniel. What do you think about this decision process? Do you feel like it's something that you could get better? You feel like you're trying to understand it before you quote? What's your feeling there?
Honestly, sometimes I'll still shoot from the hip instead of trying to understand it because I'm so go. But I can most definitely do better at that.
Okay, good. I appreciate you being candid. How about you, Nicole? If you're still on here and you can hear us, what are you processing when you see that step?
Well, it's a little different for me than I think it is for a lot of them because most of the time the people that contact me, it's pretty much a sure thing. I mean, right. I'm kind of like the last step. They're like kind of decided, hey, we're booking, we're going to call Nicole and we're going to finalize this. So it's a little bit different for me. So I kind of look at it like, how do I help them make their decision better? How do I help them make their decision quicker? And, what do I need to do to make them realize what it is they do, need and to finish it out?
Got it. So what is your role, Nicole? Are you more of a closer that it only gets to you if they're really serious?
Well, I don't do any prospecting calls or anything, and I don't work for the call center. I work at the store, and I kind of am part operations and part getting the groups ready for the, getting the store ready for the groups. But I do get emails of people wanting to book groups, and I do get a few phone calls every now and then. So it's a little bit different for me.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. How about you, Michelle? Anything you're processing when you see this?
Yeah, I think the steps you're taking us through are from taking it from being the sales process so messy, and we're cleaning it up to where it's going to be very clear, and when we go into close, it won't be a sloppy close. We know exactly who we need to talk to. We have all the details, and you can almost guarantee a close 90% of the time, actually 99% of the time, with the steps that you're having us go through.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Michael, any thoughts?
I like Jeff for the upfront contract. I think that, I'm the one that has a lot of those, unfortunately, follow-up calls. I don't like it.
Okay.
But I think if I started just setting the upfront contract in place more, then we would, eliminate that process.
Yeah.
Or at least get it down to not as many as there are. So.
Yep. Thank you for being transparent, Michael. I'm with you, man. I used to make a tough follow-up calls till I really started to learn. I'm working harder than they are. So, nice. How about Sabrina or anybody in the call center? What are you guys thinking of this? Because my hunch is it's got to be a lot faster for you guys than some of us sitting there having a conversation with somebody. Robin, was Sabrina still on here? Or are you still here?
Can you repeat your question for me, please?
Yeah, what are you guys processing from the call center side when you see decision process? My hunch is you got to see it as a pretty fast thing.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. I mean, our phone calls probably range to like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. Do you guys make follow-up calls, or do you just quote it and move on to the next one and don't worry about it?
Yeah, we have a specific team that does outbound calls, and that's Katie and Tori. And basically what they do, they'll call group events that have been booked, but called in and showed interest in the company.
Okay, got it. Okay. Jim Hirschberger, what are you processing? Anything?
I'm processing that they're engaging with you, and I like it. Seems like we're starting to, that learning curve starting to get a little more intrigued now, which is good.
Yes. So you guys, let me flash a plan here is I want to cover post-sale or fulfillment and post-sale next time. And then we'll make a decision whether we keep this group this big on this call or we break it into call center versus some of the sales side, and we start kind of applying this to your world and maybe practicing and doing some skill practicing with it. What's it sound like? So next time we'll cover fulfillment post-sale. If you want to read ahead or listen ahead, jam on that. Post-sale is a very powerful tool when it comes to the sales process, so excited to talk about that one. But we'll hit that next time, and then we'll figure out our plan to skill, because we're still in that knowledge and awareness of it. So I'm delighted that some of you guys in your victories of going there. Just really nice work. Nice job. Very cool. All right, Jess, any smart remarks before we go?
Yeah, I'll save those for next time.
All right, cool. Natalie, anything else from you? You cool?
I'm golden.
Awesome. Tim, you cool? I'll talk to you guys next time.
Yes, sir. Great call. Thank you.
All right, guys. Enjoy your week. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.